I'm embarrassed. Someone that is extremely private, and to have one of your most intimate details, the audio heard for the entire world to hear. And I always try to be professional at all times. Even when I'm behind closed doors, I still try to remain a level of professional, although I'm in the privacy of my own home. I did not know IG Live. I've never been on IG Live. I've never turned IG Live on, so I don't know how it works.
Shannon Sharpe was on top of the world at ESPN, but then one Instagram Live mishap changed everything. Now Pat McAfee's dropping bombshells about it and ESPN's speaking out. What's going on with Shannon? Let's talk about Shannon Sharpe for a sec. This guy's been crushing it in sports media. He just moved to ESPN and signed a big contract extension. Everyone loves him, and he's been killing it on TV. But then something crazy happened. Imagine this. Shannon's on Instagram Live, but he doesn't realize it. And suddenly some pretty private audio starts playing. Oops! The internet went wild. You know what's crazier? 7 of the top 8 trending topics were all about Shannon. That's insane. But here's where it gets interesting. Pat McAfee's got something to say about all this, and it's not what you'd expect. And ESPN, their response might surprise you. Let's dive into this wild ride and see what's really going down with Shannon Sharpe. Before we continue, I'd like to ask for a quick favor. If you're enjoying this content, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of our viewers watch without subscribing, and while it's free for you, it makes a world of difference to us. Have you hit that subscribe button? Awesome. Thank you so much for your support. Now, let's get back to the video. Pat McAfee just threw a curveball in the Shannon Sharpe saga. Is he defending his fellow sportscaster, or is there more to his surprising comments than meets the eye? You might think other sports media personalities would steer clear of this controversy, but McAfee jumped right in with his unique take. Now, if you don't know Pat McAfee, he's a former NFL player turned media powerhouse. He's got his own show on ESPN and isn't afraid to speak his mind.
All of a sudden, my other phone is going off, and people are calling me FaceTime that I've never talked to a day in my life on FaceTime. And it didn't, I'm like, why are y'all calling me FaceTime? I'm like, so now, Ocho, I say ask for patience. He said they can hear. And now I'm starting to get agitated again. I run my accounts, but Jordan being the good Samaritan, the good soldier that he is, Jordan the one that cut it off. Because hell, I didn't even know it was on.
So when he decided to weigh in on Shannon Sharpe's Instagram Live mishap, people were all ears. McAfee didn't just give a boring, run-of-the-mill response. No, he took this whole situation and flipped it on its head. He started talking about pro wrestling of all things. You're probably thinking, what does wrestling have to do with Shannon Sharpe? Well, hold on to your hats because this is where it gets good. McAfee said if it was a work, in wrestling something could be a work which is for business, a shoot which is for personal and for real. He's basically saying, hey, maybe this whole thing was planned. Or maybe it was a real accident. It's like he's trying to keep us guessing. But here's the kicker. McAfee wasn't trying to stir up more drama. Instead, he was using humor to take some of the heat off Sharpe. He even joked about Sharpe's fitness, saying, you questioned his cardiovascular ability because there was a little bit of breathing there at the end. Talk about turning an awkward situation into a laugh. McAfee's approach is pretty genius when you think about it. Instead of piling on or acting all serious, he's using jokes to change how people are talking about this whole mess. It's like he's saying, hey, let's not make this a bigger deal than it needs to be. And you know what? It worked. People started focusing more on McAfee's funny take than on Sharpe's embarrassing moment. It's like McAfee threw a lifeline to Sharpe in the middle of this media storm. As the dust settled on McAfee's comedic take, all eyes turned to ESPN. The network's reaction to Sharpe's slip-up? It's not what you'd expect from a company known for its strict policies. You'd think ESPN would be furious, right? I mean, one of their biggest stars just had a major oops moment on Instagram Live. Everyone was waiting to see what they'd do. Would they fire Shannon, suspend him, make him apologize on national TV? The internet was going wild with rumors. People were saying Shannon was already gone from ESPN. They thought his absence from First Take was because he got the boot. It was like a pressure cooker of speculation, and everyone was just waiting for it to explode. But here's the crazy thing. ESPN didn't do any of that. They didn't fire Shannon. They didn't suspend him. They didn't even give him a slap on the wrist. Instead, they basically said, no big deal, we're cool. Can you believe it? ESPN came out and said they weren't going to take any disciplinary action against Shannon.
I'm extremely embarrassed that a very private, intimate situation, the audio can be heard. So I said, yeah, bro, what's up? The first thing out of his mouth, guess what he said, Ocho?
Oh, wow.
You ain't gay today?
All the people talking trash and saying whatever they had to say. trying to assassinate your character, that
Yeah.
you might be this, you might be this, or whatever it may be.
It's like they looked at this whole mess and just shrugged it off. Talk about a plot twist. And you know what's even crazier? ESPN had to come out and explain why Shannon wasn't on First Take. Everyone thought he was in big trouble, but ESPN was like, nah, it's just his day off. It's like when your mom tells you to clean your room, but then says, never mind, go play. So what's next for Shannon? Well, ESPN says he's coming back to First Take on Monday like nothing ever happened. It's like he hit the reset button on this whole situation. 1 minute he's trending for all the wrong reasons, the next he's back in the game. You'd think a pro like Shannon would know his way around social media, right? Wrong! His response to the Instagram Live incident reveals just how human even the biggest stars can be. Shannon Sharpe, the man who's been dominating sports media, found himself in a pretty awkward situation. And his reaction? It's not what you'd expect from a seasoned pro. Picture this. Shannon's just chilling, doing his thing on Instagram. But here's the kicker. He didn't even realize he was live. Can you believe it? This guy's been on TV for years, but Instagram Live? Totally new territory. Shannon admitted, I didn't know IG Live. I've never been on IG Live. It's like watching your grandpa try to use Snapchat filters for the first time.
We human, we human.
Yeah.
Now, something that we all partake in horizontal and vertical activity. That's everybody. That's everybody in the chat. Now, you're not very good at technology.
I don't do anything.
You're
I don't
not
turn
very
on
good
anything.
at technology. So you at times will you've done it to me. Like you hit your phone and your butt dial me by accident and don't even know
Yeah.
you're doing it.
My
Yes,
thing
sir.
is I immediately, after it happened and I'm driving,
Yes, sir.
and I'm thinking to myself, I just remember everything my grandfather, my grandmother said. They say, boy, you messed it up, now clean it up.
But then the moment of truth hits. Someone tells Shannon he's been broadcasting to the world, and what does he do? He doesn't play it cool. Nope, he's as real as it gets. Shannon confessed, my heart sank. Obviously, I run my accounts. You can almost feel the panic setting in, right? It's like that moment when you realize you sent that embarrassing text to the wrong person. Now, here's where it gets real. Shannon doesn't try to brush it off or make excuses. He faces the music head on. He's not happy about what happened, but not for the reasons you might think. Shannon said, I think there are millions, billions of people of consenting age that engage in activities. But to have your most intimate detail on the audio to be heard, I'm disappointed in myself. It's like he's saying, hey, I'm human, but I wish I'd been more careful. But here's the thing about Shannon. Even in the middle of this mess, he doesn't lose his sense of humor. While everyone else is freaking out, Shannon's cracking jokes with his friends. He even called his agent and was like, I just gotta tell him the truth. I mean, y'all thought I was bull driving. Hey, I'm get it in real talk. Leave it to Shannon to find the funny side of a sticky situation. So, what's the takeaway from all this? Shannon Sharpe, the guy we see as this larger-than-life sports personality, is just like us. He makes mistakes, he gets embarrassed, but he also knows how to laugh at himself. It's like watching a pro athlete trip on the field. It reminds us that even the best of the best have their oops moments.